This is the fourth video of the solid modeling training plan. Or maybe for some of you, it's just another video on Microvellum Toolbox. Either way, I'm glad you're here and ready to learn how to add supplemental parts to a custom extruded product. Time to fire up Toolbox and get started. If you joined me last time in the video on modifying some 3D solids with the extruded tools, then get ready to pick up where we left off. Otherwise, follow along and let's start turning this wall into a real Microvellum product. I'm going to go back over changing a vertical parts profile. I already did this to the corner studs. That's why I have this rectangle here, but I don't want to use that one because of the smart layer that's assigned to it. So in this case, I'm going to make a new one. It's going to be the same thing, but it can really be any profile you want, as long as it's a closed polyline. Now I'm just going to move it off to one side, and that'll be the new end stud profile. Next up is to use the alternate profile button, select the part, and this profile is going to need a smart layer. Same as before, where it'll just be the name and the material, the color too if you want, but everything else is going to remain as is, because it's using the parent properties of the wall stud layer. So the easiest thing to do would be just to make a copy of the corner stud layer and give it a new name. Okay, good. But before I move on, I do want to make sure that this end stud profile is going to get dadoed into the top and bottom plate. So I'll just need to adjust the alternate profile size and extend it 1/4 inch in both directions. And if you're not getting the dado in the bottom plate, then go ahead and use that move command and move it down in the Z direction 1/4 inch. And this usually happens just because it's an alternate profile. And now, adding a supplemental part. A supplemental part is something added to the product after it's been extruded. Any 3D solid can become a supplemental part. The one I'm going to add is going to be a finished end panel. To draw this, you can use the box command. Go to the modeling button under the Home tab in the AutoCAD ribbon, and here are the commands to draw some basic 3D solids. When drawing a box, you're going to want to give it the dimension in X, and then in Y. And after you hit Enter, you can go ahead and set the height in Z. Once the solid is drawn, go to Tools, and right-click to add a new supplemental part. Now all these parts in the product need to have a smart layer. That's how Toolbox knows to make it a Microvellum product when you're ready to analyze. Now there's only a few settings for these supplemental parts. If there was more that needed to be done with it, like a cutout or other machining operations, you could do it in Part Properties or Edit Design Data after the product's been cooked. Okay, so now on to the next thing I want to show you, and that's how to use some of the other extruded tools. So if you have parts that need to be stretched or resized, like I have with this subtop and outside panel, you can use these tools for extruded parts. This one here will allow you to stretch the part and lock it, so it remains that way after redrawing. The one next to it also stretches the face of a part, but it's not going to lock it, so it will revert back if you were to redraw the product. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and stretch and lock both of those parts. First selecting the part, and then the edge, and then I'm going to pull it flush with this finished end panel. So I can do that to both of the parts in the product, but because this part here is a supplemental part, I can't do the same thing. To resize this panel, I'll have to use the press pull command. You can type it out in the command line, or find it in the AutoCAD ribbon under modeling. All right, well that's it. Now this wall isn't really anything special, but it is something that can be analyzed and sent out to the shop to be built. The parts will all be cut on the CNC with holes for dowels or routes for dados. And to me, one of the best parts, labels to make it easy on the ones in the shop sorting and assembling the product. Now if you want, at this point, you could use the Solid Model Analyzer button in the MV palette, but I'm going to show you how to save the product through the product tree. First, right-click on the product to be analyzed, and hit Save. Then you're asked a few questions about how it will be saved. Now it's ready to be placed in the drawing. And there you have a product that can be included in a work order that will be processed for production. There are those dowel holes and the routes for the dadoed parts. And if you want to see how the product is built with its parts and material, open up Part Properties. Similar to other products in the library, but this one isn't made with functions and formulas, so it's not parametric. But if you want to get crazy and get into the data and make this product your own, maybe adding some custom prompts or 2D drawing tokens, really anything you can do with other products in the library, you can do with this. As I select this part here, you can see the machine tokens that were created from the dowel holes and the dado routes. And then finally, to finish up, let me just add some PVC to the long edge of this end panel. Okay, a completed Microvellum product created with the Extruded Product Builder and Solid Model Analyzer. This one is ready to be processed. Well, thanks for hanging out with me for another training lesson on Microvellum Toolbox. Hopefully it was informative, and maybe what you've learned here you can use in your workflow. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.